Con Michael Salgado.
That's right, baby. 30 years.
¿No has visto a Michael?
We actually talked for his birthday.
Sí.
I wished him a happy birthday. We were on the phone back and forth.
¿Qué tantos años tiene Michael?
He's not going to let me tell me. I'm going to lose him as a compadre if I tell him.
Yeah, man. I remember when Cruz de Madera came out, man. That was fantastic back in the day.
Absolutely.
You know what? I think he's the reason that, like, Tejano kind of, like, changed.
Yes.
It went from like Tejano to Norteño because it was Michael Salgado, and that was more like Norteño stuff, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then you had your Intocables and all the other ones come out, and it's like pretty much pushed. Yes. But I think he was like the first one that had that Norteño sound that was being played and programmed with Tejano music, man.
Yes, absolutely. Then. Yes.
How did you meet him, man?
I was a big fan of Michael Salgado. I mean, my wife and I would always go dancing at all his gigs, and he saw me a couple of times, and we became friends. I mean, you're talking about way back, you know. So we exchanged numbers, and at the end, I said, hey, anytime you're here, look me up. So when he would come play here down the street at Tejano Saloon, I mean, that was years ago. That place doesn't exist anymore. We started, he came to my house. We had dinner one time, and then people freaked out. Hey, Michael Salgado's at Richard Molina's house, right? So then he would get the accordion and play a few songs, and people would get fired up. So every time we had a special event for my birthday, he would come play for my birthday. So he would always schedule something around the valley, whether it be Brownsville,
La Feria,
just something in the area, and we would do it at that time. We would set it up perfectly because he would do the gig at my house, and then he had a reason to be here where he can actually make some money.
Richard Molina. Mayor Richard Molina.
Yes, sir.
That's the way we knew you. That's the way we met you, bro.
Yes, sir.
You were mayor for Edinburg. How many years were you there?
I was there for 4 years. I was there.
And what year to what year was it?
2017 to 2021. Yes, sir.
And you're jumping back in the rodeo again.
I'm jumping back in the ring again. That's right. That's right.
That's what it is. It's a political ring, man.
Absolutely. That's what it is.
You've got an event coming up this weekend. What's happening?
Yes. We're going to have my first open event since coming back.
La primer pachanga.
La primer pachanga. And then we're going to have it right in the heart of the city at 1217 South Klausner, right across the street from HEB.
Okay.
Where there's lots of traffic. It's going to be at there's a friend of the family's that owns the building. Rio DME is the name of the business.
Okay.
And it's at 1217 South Klausner. We're going to give away free barbecue.
Orale.
And we want to get the decals on the back of people's vehicles. That thing, I think the first time I ran, we did 250 different cars. Hopefully we can get the same amount this time. So I'm looking forward to inviting the community out. Everyone is invited to come to this event. And it's going to be free barbecue, and you're going to get a decal on the back of your vehicle. Vote for Richard Molina 2025.
Wow. And perfect spot en que si hace falta algo de cruza la calle, ve para HEB, necesitamos más ketchup.
That's right. We're right across the street.
That's smart. That's smart logistics.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, man, you were a mayor for 4 years, right?
Yes.
And how was your experience? I mean, when you won, I was there. And we had a little celebration at your house, and it was really something. It was something magical. Something was, definitely going to happen.
Yes.
And Edinburg had a new mayor.
Correct.
So how was your experience those 4 years, man?
You live and you learn, right? Mm-hmm. And I've learned a lot from those first 4 years. To come back here. I'm actually running again because people were reaching out to me the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. Hey, we need you back, Mayor. We need you back. We need you back. So for me, I've been pushed in by the community back into the arena.
Sí.
So without the phone calls, without people giving me updates as to what's happening with the city, I would have never done this again. But the fact that I've gotten a lot of support and a lot of phone calls is the reason that I'm back in the arena. So when I got elected the last time, we were able to do a lot. I mean, you saw the growth in Edinburg. We became the fastest growing city in the RGV, hands down. Mm-hmm. We had a benchmark and a goal to hit over 100,000 people. Now, understand, there's only one city in Hidalgo County that's ever hit that benchmark, and that's McAllen. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is Edinburg. Other than that, no one's even close to that population. So when you think about what we were able to do with the census, what we were able to do to overcome COVID. I mean, I was there during a disastrous time for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, and for us to be able to implement the ordinances and the rules that we did prior to the governor stepping in, I mean, that was done by the mayor and the city council. We were the ones setting the rules about using the face mask and then covering your nose and mouth and doing all these things. Because remember, COVID was something totally brand new. We didn't know what it was, but we did know at the time.
It was an unknown.
It was an unknown, but we did know that our hospitals were jam-packed and that people were passing away and that it was a legitimate illness. And you know this. We were talking about this earlier. You know, it changed everything. We had to do things different. You know, they stopped the pachangas and the parties and the gigs.
6 feet apart.
Absolutely. So it was
shelter in place was crazy.
Big time. And for that, you know, talk about trying times. Trying times while being the mayor, right? Being able to face the challenges that we did, but then also having the growth. Also doing a record amount of paving, a record amount of drainage projects, city parks, all upgraded. We were able to get started with the amphitheater, the one in the downtown area, the ACE building, the Cultural Arts and Event Center. We even signed for the parking lot that's going to eventually help the courthouse and all the movement that's going on. Remember, that is a multi-story parking garage. It's going to go right in the heart of the city. If you've ever been down to the courthouse for jury duty or stuff like that, there's no place to park. So that problem was solved. I put it in writing in 2021. So I'm looking forward to going back in there this November and seeing that project to fruition.
That'd be amazing. It is. You know, you ran for mayor again for re-election.
Yes, I did. I did.
It didn't go well for you that time. You ended up losing, but there was a lot of things going on, right?
There was a dark cloud. I mean, I was falsely accused of something that I never did. And I told people from the very beginning, hey, you know, they would say, why don't you consider stepping down? I said, look, would you step down if you never did anything wrong? And, you know, we were able to prove our case in court through a jury. Not a judge that dismissed the case, not you know, a prosecutor that dismissed the case, but actually sitting there for 3 weeks with the best attorney that I had, Carlos A. Garcia,
Saludos para Carlos,
yes, and Sergio Munoz, and we sat there and we watched, and the jury saw that it was a political witch hunt.
I know. It was interesting.
Absolutely.
I mean, when they read the not guilty verdict, I mean, you broke down. You and your wife, bro.
I broke down, Rock, because I kept telling people from the beginning of the allegations that I never did anything wrong, and I stood by that. The reason I cried is because of all the people that had accused me and said that I had done something when I knew that what I did was not illegal, and we even brought that out, that what they accused me of wasn't even a law. It was a gray and vague area that they had eventually got to the legislatures and changed. I call it the Richard Molina law. They went in there, the legislators in Austin, and changed the law in 2021. And, you know, that thing was very impactful. I don't think it got the coverage on the result as it did at the beginning, right? Because there was a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah.
But when it came to Richard Molina not guilty, everybody kind of wrapped up, and that was it. The media gave you probably the third page.
That's always happening.
And there was
the exoneration isn't as compelling as the allegation. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the way the news works.
That's the way it works here.
Yeah.
And here in the Valley, you know, you have to. When you're charged with something, we all know this in the Valley, you're guilty until proven innocent. You're never innocent until proven guilty.
You're guilty until you prove your ass innocent.
That's right. That's how it works here, especially in the Valley. You know, it's a different culture.
How much did that set you back, man? It must have been an expensive trip for you, bro.
It was expensive, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I don't have an exact number, but it was expensive. Man.
Yeah, man. That's crazy because that's how they break people.
That's how they break it, because you're running a campaign, trying to fund the campaign, and then at the same time you're trying to fight a war, trying to fight in court. So eventually, you know, the accusations were the difference in the race. And it was a very close race.
Yeah, it was.
It was a very, very close race. And I think that people saw the work that we had done. But for some reason, the conservative vote was stuck on the fact that something happened and that I would have never been accused of something that I never did. But that's not the way it works, because if you see, it's called lawfare right nowadays.
Everybody knows about it now, because
Everybody
it's
knows-
happened at the highest level.
Everybody knows about it, that they're using the law to go after political competition, and that's never been seen before.
I know, it's crazy.
It's never been seen before. So.
Yeah. Trump has set a whole new precedent for that. I mean,
Yes.
they went after him and they tried to put him in.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people feel that he's guilty, and because the court of public opinion is like, man, you lose with the court of public opinion.
That's it.
And even if you're exonerated in the court of public opinion that, we're finding you guilty or thought you were guilty, we'll never find out if you were exonerated, because they won't report it as hard as
They won't, and there was a lot of details missing.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that at another time.
Yeah, because I have some other questions about that.
There was a whole lot there that I'm sure people want to know about.
It's
not covered.
It's it's very fascinating what happened.
Yes.
Because it doesn't happen every day around here like that.
No, it doesn't.
And the way that you were exonerated was, it's interesting, but yeah, I've got some more questions about that later on when we sit down, have a little longer time. So you're going back, and the current mayor, he ended up being diagnosed with prostate cancer.
That's correct.
So, our prayers to him and his family.
Absolutely.
That is something terrible that can happen to anybody. But because of that, he decided to step down. So there's going to be a special election, or is he going to finish his term out? How does that work?
He's going to finish his term, and yes, our prayers are with the current mayor and his wife, Maria. Absolutely. I've been reaching out to him, letting him know that he's definitely in our prayers. But he's going to fill the remainder of his term until November.
Okay.
Until the election, so it is open. And he's had a whole press conference on that, made the announcement public, and so we're going to be running here, and it's an open seat, and I'm telling you that I'm excited, and there's no doubt in my mind, Rock, that I will be back this November to serve my beloved city of Edinburg.
What are you hoping to do with the city if you get back in there?
We need to go back to infrastructure. I think we're missing that. We need to go back to fixing the potholes in the streets and repaving a lot of the main thoroughfares, and going back to the drainage. If you see, we got exposed in some of our spots with the drainage. We did have a record number of rainfall that came recently, and there was some areas that I had already worked on when I was there where you saw the difference. The water receded very, very quickly, and there was other areas that we did have on the master plan that I wasn't able to get to, that we did suffer there. So I want to continue going after the infrastructure, which in Edinburg, we're a growing city and we're lacking. Water is always an issue. We got to find out where to get more water. There's a water shortage going on. We also have to deal with our parks, our services, right? Just making sure that it looks really nice and clean and neat. If we don't have, the streets paved, if we don't have the infrastructure, like your drainage projects, and your parks aren't looking nice, we're not going to be able to attract the businesses and the things that we really want, because it comes down to the fundamentals. People think like, oh, well, you need to bring in industry and Amazon and these type of businesses. If your city doesn't look clean, if it doesn't look nice, and it doesn't look presentable, people aren't going to want to invest. So I think keeping our home clean there, our roadways, things like that, are going to be the difference, because I think that we're already the hub of the county.
Yeah,
we're the capital of Hidalgo County, and it's only a matter of time before we surpass all the other cities in population. Because as you know, there's plenty of growth for Edinburg. We have land like you wouldn't believe, all the way to 490, and the potential is there. So they need a mayor with experience, which I have. They need a mayor with energy, which I have. They need a mayor that's strong, which I have proved through all the things that I've been through, that I could be a strong individual, whether that's through the allegations, whether that's fighting COVID, that's going through the hurricanes that we went through while I was there, and really just getting back to service. I believe that people want to feel like the city is answering their needs. One of the big things that I implemented when I was there was coffee with a mayor. So what I would do is once a month, I would post myself in a public place, whether that be Junior Supermarket, whether that be at Denny's, whether that be at a local mom and pop's restaurant. And I would take complaints from the public. So I would sit there for basically 3 to 4 hours, and I would bring my entire staff with me of decision makers. So I would have the director of public works, the director of sanitation, the chief of police, the fire chief. And if there was a complaint, I'm having problems with permit, boom, there's our planning and zoning. I'm having a problem with the fire department, boom, there's our chief. So people like that because we were being extremely transparent, accessible, and people. I would do the Facebook Lives. Look, we're working on this street. We're spraying for mosquitoes in this area. This is our plan for the branch pickup. When I was keeping people informed, that was a new type of mayor that was being 100% transparent. When we did that, people miss that. And I'm not saying that they're not doing it now. They're just not doing it as often as I used to do it.
Yeah, and I have to... because I knew you when you were running the first time. And then even after you win, because like when somebody's running for office, you see them everywhere.
Yes.
And even after you won, dude, I was like, I'd go to a local school game. You were there. I'd go to this other event. You were there. I'd go to the housing authority thing. You were there. Yes. It's like you were everywhere, even after the election, after you won. Yes. So I was like, you know what? That's like, I'd never really seen that before, man. So you are one of the type of mayors or persons that likes to be involved and be around the community for sure.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So the event's happening once again this Saturday.
It's going to be this Saturday, April the 12th at Rio DME, 1217 South Closer, right across the street from HEB. We're going to have beef fajitas, chicken fajitas, rice and beans, free food. And we want to come out and get the decal on the back of your vehicle to show support, Richard Molina for mayor. And also, people that haven't seen me in a while, they want to come and say hello to me, or they want to ask me questions, or they want to ask me about my platform. Hey, that's what I'm there for, to make myself accessible to the people.
Y de repente Michael Salgado, nunca sabe.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? It's now you're going to have a football team. With the UTRGV, Edinburgh's going to have that football team, ¿verdad?
Absolutely.
Los Vaqueros.
Football coming to Edinburgh, yes. And they'll be playing right down the street at the HEB Park at Raul Longoria. And you're going to have people come from all over. We're going to become the hub when it comes to sports entertainment. We have the arena, we have the Vipers, and I was a part of all that when I was in the city council as well before I was the mayor. So, Edinburgh is a place to be. You know that. I mean, Rock, you've moved to Edinburgh.
It's the capital of Hidalgo. I'm living in Edinburgh.
You're living in Edinburgh, and you've been all around. And at the end of the day, you can see the synergy in what's happening there. And I think that me working along with the city council, I'm the piece that's going to help things move along faster. And to be able to compete with the other cities, because it's very, very competitive. Take nothing away from some of the other local cities. They're out there working hard, trying to lobby businesses and trying to get people to come down to the RGB. And you know what? Sometimes you got to take trips up to Dallas, to Las Vegas, to Houston to be able to lobby those kind of businesses. And I was a big part of that, getting out there. I remember going in and personally meeting the team for walk-ons. When we brought in walk-ons, I remember being a part of the team on the city council where we spoke to the team from the Texas Roadhouse. All of those businesses that you see on Trenton, I was a big part. The Palenque Grill that was located here on Nolana, I used to always eat there. And I said, hey, when are you guys going to come to Edinburgh? They said one day. So I left the gentleman my number. One time he said, hey, we're looking for a place to be. I said, Edinburgh is a place. And that's how you have those restaurants that are coming.
Por la Trenton
right there.
Expressway.
Yes. So,
yeah, man. That's awesome. Los Dallas Cowboys, bro.
This is going to be our year. I honestly believe it's going to be our year.
No, carnal. You're one of the most hardcore Dallas Cowboy fans I know besides me, man.
We got to do it. People say, you guys are crazy. Well, there's the thing is that you gotta be loyal to your team, right?
We'll see.
If we're switching jerseys like everybody else, I mean, that's not going to work either, So I think everybody in my family has lost hope. I'm the last believer in the Dallas Cowboys.
No, hombre, me agüité, chicos, this past year, man, big time, man. Pero pues, ¿qué le hacemos? Tenemos que seguir ahí. Y de ahí, pues, las jerseys, chinga, ya desde voladas van y vienen los players, chinga. Antes, you had a Roger Staubach, te duraba 10 años, carnal.
Yep.
Y, Troy Aikman te duraba 5, 6, 7 años. Y era chingado. Pero, Mayor, I wish you the best of luck, and we got to do this again, man.
Absolutely.
But we want to promote this event you've got Saturday, so everybody make it out and go check it out. Get a sticker on your back, get some free food. Edinburg, Texas, all the residents in Edinburg and in the surrounding areas, you can go by también. And then if you want to show your support for Molina, Mr. Molina, Richard Molina, it's across from the H-E-B on Klausner, ¿verdad?
From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Órale,
11
qué
a.m. to
bárbaro.
2 p.m.
Un pollito, un brisket, ¿o qué va a hacer o qué?
Well, we're going to make some fajitas.
Órale, es todo, un
yes,
arroz y frijolitos a
Yes.
toda madre. Asústame one time.
There you go.